Morning, everybody, and welcome to our next monthly webinar that Oasis hosts. This month, we are looking, as you can see on the screen, we're looking at the newly released data connector for Opera 3 SQL SE. And yes, just a little bit of agenda that I've put together for this morning is firstly, good welcome. We had that. Introductions, myself, here everybody knows me. My name is Bruce. I'm Sales Marketing Director here at Oasis. Head up these monthly webinars and really just try and put a lot of information in front of our customers regarding what's happening at Pegasus and how we can improve our products. In a minute, I'm going to introduce you to Julian. Julian is our BDM, or as we call it, Business Development Manager from Pegasus. And Julian is going to take us through the data connector for Opera 3 SQL SE and show off a little bit of the functionality and the uses for the product. If you haven't met Julian, which I'm sure most of you have, but if you haven't met Julian yet, Julian has been with Pegasus longer than I think he wants to remember at this point in time, and so he knows all the ups and downs of Pegasus. So it's lovely to have Julian show off this product to us today. So after that, we'll head into a quick Q&A session. If anybody has any questions during the session, please type them for me in the chat and we'll throw them at Julian at that point in time, or I can answer them depending on what they are. And at that point, we'll finish. I don't think it will be much longer than around half an hour on this. So, data connector, and I'm going to pass you over to Julian, and he shall share his screen for us. Thank you, Julian.
Thanks, Bruce. Let's click share my screen. First check I'll do is to make sure everyone can see that. Yep, good. It's always a good start, as I said before. So as Bruce introduced there, I'm going to show you our latest software release for SQL SE that shows the data connector, which expands the reporting tools that we already have available within SE and just add some new great stuff to that for you. So what I'm going to cover quickly, because as Bruce said, take about 20, 25, 30 minutes, something like that. Talk to you a little bit about why we needed, or where we felt we needed the data connector. A lot of you may already have XRL, so talk about XRL versus data connector and the pros of both. How's the data connector going to work with Opera 3 SQL SE? And then I'll go in to show you some examples in Excel and also Power BI. So, as you may be aware, our SQL SE software has been developed and built using the latest technologies. It's where our future developments lay, and at the forefront of this development was and is the need to maintain and enhance security in the product, as we released it and also going forward. So we felt there was a need to offer a fast, secure reporting tool that enabled direct access to the SQL SE data whilst maintaining the secure environment we'd built within SE. We also needed something we felt that could be used through numerous different reporting packages. XRL is great for using with Excel, but you may have other reporting tools out there that you use, such as Power BI. There's many on the market, and we needed to give you the option to use those securely as well. So our technical team did lots of research, looked at various, and there's a lot of them, viable methods to actually achieve the requirement we needed. And having looked at a lot, we chose something called OData, which we felt would offer the best customer and partner experience, so the partner can support you and write reports, etc., for you if needed. OData, latest technologies, things like that. I'll come on to that. So the question is, what is OData? And that's quite a heavy slide. And in the interests of time and also probably boredom thresholds, I won't go too much into it. Simply, OData stands for Open Data Protocol, which allows data to be extracted from many different data sources and analyzed by a host of tools such as Excel, Power BI, SQL reporting tools, just to name a few there. It is quite technical. If it is something you want to look at more, I mean, there's RESTful APIs and things like this. Take a look at www.odata.org, and that will tell you all about it. So why are we using OData? It's fast, modern technology, which we felt was the best to access the data from SE and enables you flexible querying. Can be used in multiple ways, and as I've said, is accessed by numerous applications in a relatively simple way. Again, a little bit technical, but the results returned in JSON. JSON is actually the latest technology and way of standard formatting data transfer, and is replacing XML. But the key thing is why we're using OData is all about that SE security. It maintains that. Quickly touch on the SE data connector versus XRL, and the key point, because many of you may have XRL, it's not a replacement. At no point was it written to replace XRL. They actually complement each other. XRL may sometimes be better at more detailed reporting. You can do it in Data Connector, but things like management reports, profit and loss, balance sheets, etc., are probably more suitable to produce in XRL. The Data Connector is better for things like dashboards, KPI reporting, and stuff like that. Pros of XRL, as many of you use it, you'll know it is secure. There's a standard UI. With training, I guess it's simple to use, easy to design. It's using friendly names, so you can pinpoint which fields and areas of the software you want to report on. It does have some great reporting features in terms of drill downs, etc. And it integrates with Excel wonderfully. The data connector is that direct, secure access, and I keep mentioning the word security as I say, it's at the forefront of all of our developments with SE now. It's not just Excel, it works great with Excel, but it can integrate with those other packages I've discussed. There's no user count, so the license covers everybody that has a Pegasus login, whereas XRL is a named user. One here, the automatic calculation does remain on with Data Connector. As you know, with XRL, if you use it, you constantly have to press F9 to refresh spreadsheets if you're even if you're not using XRL at that point. There's some great refresh options. It is modern, it's efficient, it's effective. It's also a fabulous tool for developers to use to get data out of the system to link to other systems if needed, not just for reporting. So how's it going to work with SQL SE? So it's installed alongside something called SAM, uses IIS for data access. Now, if you don't know what SAM is our server administration and monitoring software, and it's a core hub for everything that is controls your SE. I will show you a little bit and just show you something to do with Data Connector. So if I load up, this is SAM. May or may have not seen this, and I'm not going to go into much of it, but just a little overview is it controls basically your license details, what modules you have, printers, some great little utilities here for help desk and support areas with service logs and monitors, and you can audit anything that's going wrong with your software. Great use for support. Set up your, as you say, your license, your email settings. There's some nice little health check utility in there, and stuff to migrate from Opera 3 to SE to make that process easier for yourselves. What I wanted to touch on here, it also controls any bespoke, but what I wanted to touch on was the reporting roles. So within SE, again, with security in mind, we set up reporting roles that can be used for users that have XRL or the data connector here. So the reporting roles, for example, if I click on the purchase processor, this is where you can assign a reporting role to individual people who have access. So you've got the user rights within Opera SE, but then in terms of reporting, you can say, yes, they got access to XRL and they can report on all these areas within purchase ledger or whatever roles they are. And we've done the same for data connector. And you can see we can switch some off so they're not able to, in this instance, not able to report on any import, export information, etc. on the data connector. So it just secures that data and access or data access further in terms of reporting. Works, it presents the same as XRL, friendly dictionary, predefined links. Now, a key point of this is if you have any bespoke development in your system, because basically a data connector creates a big data lake of all the information and all the data that's held within SQL SE, this will also include any data produced from bespoke development. So you can actually report on that. As standard XRL doesn't do that. So data connector may be the way forward if you do have bespoke development that you need to report on. And the data connector enables you to manipulate the OData to whatever is required, whatever reporting goal you have. So I'll show you some examples, which is probably comes a little bit more clear to you. So I'll start with some Excel ones, and then I'll show you some Power BI dashboards. So if I load up a blank spreadsheet, what I will do is just show you, for example, I want to bring across all of my sales ledger data. So go data, get data, other sources, and in most reporting tools, or 99% I've seen, you'll have from OData feed there. And you're presented with a box once it's loaded for a URL. Now I'll talk about that in a minute, and I'll show you a little tool we've produced to create these URLs to be able to get the reporting. So I'll click on that. Basically, what I've called there is I want to be able to access any information in my Opera system. So it's given me a whole list of choices. What data do I want? It's got bill of materials, cash book, costing. I'm going to do sales accounts. We click on that. Gives a little quick example. I load that. You can click transform data, and it uses Microsoft Query, so you can use that. That's a very powerful reporting tool. But I'm just going to click load for now. Now this is bringing across every single. That was very quick. It brings across every single bit of information in my sales ledger, as you can see, and it is everything. Because I've asked it to bring across everything, and you won't want all that by writing a report. Now, what it's done across your network, it's give you the option there to bring across what data you want. So it's going to quicken up the reporting process and also reduce the amount of data that's to-ing and thrown across your network. Great report. I could then have the power of Excel to do whatever I want and change colors and do a graph and things like this. But I don't really want all that information. So what Data Connector gives you is the ability to drill down on the actual information you want. So all I actually wanted was a report that shows me sales ledger accounts have a balance of over £2,000, should we say. So again, get data, other sources, remote data. Wait for that box to come up. Oh, click the wrong button there. Click OK. That's gone back to your data lake on your server and gone, what information? Just want this information. Little example. Again, we've got to transform data there. Yeah, that's the report I want. Load that up. So that's brought across, and there's not very many, but all of my sales ledger accounts that have a balance of more than £2,000. And it's also told me whether they're on stop because I put that into the URL creation there. URL creation, we have produced a nice little utility here. So predefine which company do you want to look at, which table, company ID, and then on here you can choose what areas of the software you want. You can see you've got all the areas. Click on one, that changes and go, yeah, I want to report on this, names, etc., record IDs, and click those, and it creates a URL for you. You click copy, and then you can paste that into that URL that I showed you. So on this one, just to show about the refresh options that I mentioned. So we have, as I said, customers with a balance of over 2,000. Do you want? But there's some of these refresh functionality is great on here. So we can use it a bit like a dashboard. So yeah, we want to, every time we open that spreadsheet, because it's going to, you save it and it just open it up. It's going to refresh the data on there. But you could use it a bit like a dashboard. So we're going to go, we'll refresh every minute, something like that, shall we? So what I will do quickly is go into SE, and we'll do Andrew Griffin Limited, got a balance of 2125. And I will raise let's find Andrew Griffin. Andrew Griffin Limited, balance of 2125. You say, I'll just raise the invoice, and just to show you the refresh side of things. Make something there. We'll do something silly like 10,000, so it definitely jumps up. Click OK. It's a demo, so we just choose anything on that. £10,000. We'll make it exempt. Change down, and we will post that invoice. Straight away on there, you see the balance in Opera, as you'd expect, it's gone to 12,125. What I will do while I'm in here, in here, so I need to wait for it to refresh for a minute, is just show you in terms of security again, under user profiles, we're actually using with the data connector and Opera now. If you want to use it, we're using Windows authentication just to improve that security for you. And the data connector is linked to that. Okay, so we're watching this. So Andrew Neil, we've added Andrew Griffin, sorry, we've added £10,000. So they should jump up to about 11th or something on there. Just wait for it to refresh. This is where I should do another little song just to fill in the time. And any second now, there you go. So you can just see it's there. So you can actually have dashboards and graphs within Excel. Set that you wouldn't want it refreshing every minute, I wouldn't have thought. But every hour or every 10 minutes or whatever, you can have a sales report that goes onto that. So you can see on there, I could do totals and use Excel however I wanted to use it. So quick example with Excel there. Let's have a look at Power BI. So this is a Power BI example. It's not published, so it is still in the case of being written, but we're at a point. So this is a dashboard that we produced to do with sales accounts, sales ledger, etc. Just talk you through that. You can do filters, and if you know how to use Power BI, I'm told this is relatively simple. So this is sales revenue for the year, average debtor days. Just a quick look on here. We can also use the power of these Microsoft tools to use things like notification services. So if it's linked to sales and someone sells something, you can notify different people by email or pop-ups or however you want to do it. The other good thing about the Power BI is, they can be published to the web, so everyone can have access to them, but also to a mobile phone, so you can have a look and see what's going on when you're on the beach on holiday. Normal stuff applies on these sort of things, so I can drill down into territory and you can see the sales demographic. That's where the customers are, wherever that is. Shows you the different revenue. If I look at territory sales, again, click on a territory, we'll click on that one, UK2, it changes, shows you how those sales transactions are made up. There is functionality to drill down on those, the balances, how many are overdue. You can put different filters in. The other thing here, there's a commission route here, and that actually enables you to use As long as the functionality is available in our standard importer, you can actually put information into this area, and it can write back into Opera. That's something you need to speak to Bruce about on that. Just quickly go back to the sales report because I'm conscious of time. Just wanted to show you, once it's loaded up, this little box here is actually using the power of Copilot, as you can see up here. So this gives you the ability to actually type in a question. So what's my, it depends on what the dashboard is, of course. You know, what's my, how many widgets do I have in stock? Who's my biggest customer? Stuff like that. And it will go back to that data lake of information, interrogate it, and go, you have X amount in stock, or your biggest customer is ABC or whoever at that point. So that's one example there. Another example I wanted to show you just before I finish is a payroll one. So this is quite busy because we've tried to fit in as much as we can as an example on here. So this payroll dashboard here is an overview year to date of how much wages you've paid, how much tax you've paid, NI, split of gender within your workforce, department heads, year to date, everything you want to do, and we can change that to period as well. So let's click on that. I need to control and click on that, and as you can see, it breaks it down to individual payroll periods on that. There are filters again on here, and again we have the Copilot side on this example. There is a tab for personnel as well, so we'll load that up. So that's all that information that you need to know on there. So again, the Copilot thing, ethnic origins, marital status, age demographics, who your staff are, tax codes, etc., etc. Lots of graphs, and again, this could be refreshing if you really wanted it to, and lots of filters on there. Pensions, just to show you that. As I say, we've thrown an awful lot at this, just to give you examples. So different pensions, and again, lots of filters, again, to look at how you're doing, how many starters you've had in the year, different pension schemes you've got, things like that. And then a period analysis dashboard as well. So again, I can look at all the staff in that period, how many staff you had, how much they've been paid. We can look at the different tax years on this graph here to see, and the figures change accordingly as you would expect. There's no staff in that one. So yeah, so that's an example just for payroll. And again, you can do how to filter that down to however you want. So okay, so that's 25 past. That was basically what I was going to show you. So I think probably back over to Bruce for Q&As.
There we go. Thank you very much, Julian, for that. I'm
No
just
problem.
going to grab the screen back. You might have to share again if you're going to have to answer a question. So, okay. Thank you for that, Julian. I'm going to pass over to anybody. I see someone had their hand up and down in the session. Have you guys got any questions for us on this matter?
Yeah, hi, Bruce. I did have my hand up throughout that. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine, thanks.
Hi.
Hi.
So throughout that, Opera 3 SE was mentioned quite a lot here at Wixroyd. Yes. I don't know whether we are actually using a version of Opera that would work. So we are just using Opera 3. Yes. I don't know whether that is the same thing or it's a different version.
It's the same product, but it's the SQL SE is just the next version of the product. Your database is not a SQL database yet, so that's the difference. But yeah, I invited
not
everybody
beneficial
to have
for
a
us
look.
as of this moment.
At this very moment, no.
Fine. Okay.
No.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
Okay, just check.
Okay.
All right,
no problem.
thank you. And then I was just going to ask about the Power BI dashboards as well anyway. Was the process of getting the data exactly the same when you connect Power BI to your data connector? Was it get data and then
yes
data connection? Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks.
So thank you for that. I've got Nick on from Pinewood asking if XRL is still 32-bit only. It is at this point, Nick, and you would like to migrate to 64-bit XL. Would the data connector potentially replace that? Yeah, probably at this point, I'm going to say yes to that. Because the XR is not on the 64-bit, and I'm not entirely sure when we expect that to be.
No,
Julian, do you know?
I can't give any dates or anything at the moment. It's currently in development still, and it is an ongoing issue. There's no commit dates or anything for the release of that. I can't even say if it's going to be soon or far at this current time.
Okay.
Obviously, the data connector does work in 64-bit.
Yes, there is that. Anybody, any other questions before we move on? Okay, then just to say, before we go on, is there a plan to link with CIS? No, it's no problem, Nick. I'm not sure there is a plan to link to CIS at this point. Julian, do you know?
Not currently. I'm sure it will probably be discussed in the future.
Yeah, I'll speak to you, Nick, though, but I do have an idea, though, how you could extract your data from your SQL database if you want to use Power BI for displaying some of your CIS stuff in dashboards. So I'll have a chat to you about that. Okay, so I just want to remind you guys, we do these webinars monthly at the last Thursday of every month. So just on the website under the customer zone, you'll find a full list of webinars and how I've planned them for the next few months, and I've got quite a lot on there. So thank you for joining us. Next month, I will be hosting some special Pegasus workshop. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do yet, but it will be a workshop around the Pegasus products, both Opera 3 and CIS. Anybody, I look forward to seeing you on that. So thank you for joining, and I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you all.